The village of Umuaama was a paradise of simplicity. The mornings came alive with roosters crowing and the distant murmur of the stream where women fetched water. Chi-Chi loved this village, its rolling green fields and the mango trees that stood like sentinels along the paths. She spent her days running barefoot with her siblings, the sun warming her dark, smooth skin as she giggled with joy. At night, the family's small hut glowed with the soft light of the fire, the aroma of yam porridge filling the air. Her mother's gentle hums and her father's stories of their ancestors painted pictures of love and tradition. But the dry season, the cruel thief of joy, arrived, bringing the desperation that would shatter Chi-Chi's happy world. The city was nothing like Umuaama. Mama Charity's house loomed like a fortress, with its high gates and shining tiles that reflected the harsh city sun. Chi-Chi's breath caught as she entered the compound. Inside, the luxury was suffocating. Everything gleamed, the marble floors, the crystal chandeliers. But the air was heavy with control. On her first night, Mama Charity handed Chi-Chi a list of rules, her voice cold and sharp like the clink of gold bangles. "You are here to work, not to play," she said, her eyes narrowing as she looked Chi-Chi up and down. "The house must be spotless, meals prepared. My children's needs are met at all times. No excuses." The days blurred into a routine of scrubbing, cooking, and enduring Mama Charity's wrath. Any mistake, a missed corner while cleaning or soup lacking the perfect amount of pepper, earned Chi-Chi a slap or a storm of insults. "You ungrateful village girl. Do you think you deserve to live in a house like this?" Sometimes Mama Charity denied her food, and Chi-Chi lay awake at night, her stomach growling in protest. The city's distant hums reminded her of Umuaama, a world she could no longer reach. Mama Charity's husband, Bello, was worse than she had ever imagined. Tall and broad-shouldered, with a voice as smooth as melted butter. He carried an air of menace. At first, his actions were subtle. A brush of his hand as she served him food, a smile that lingered too long. But soon, his intentions became unmistakable. One night, while Mama Charity was on a business trip, Bello cornered Chi-Chi in the dimly lit kitchen. The only sound was the refrigerator's hum, but Chi-Chi's heart pounded like a drum. "You're a beautiful girl, Chi-Chi," he whispered, gripping her arm. "Don't be afraid. I can make your life easier." Chi-Chi tried to pull away, but her voice caught in her throat. Bello's grip tightened. She wanted to scream, but the walls seemed to close in, swallowing her voice. Chi-Chi lived in fear, especially when Mama Charity and children travel, leaving her alone with Mr. Bello. She was instructed by Mama Charity not to lock up her room door, to get in easily, but one day, when Mama Charity traveled with children on a holiday trip, while she was sleeping she felt Mr. Bello's presence in the dark, walking towards her bed as soon as she was about to jump out of the bed. He gripped her tightly on her hands she could not let loose. She knew she was in danger, she was trapped. She tried to scream, but he slapped her angrily, saying, "There's nobody in this house, just both of us. The gatekeeper is sleeping, so as you can see, you cannot escape from my grip, that you are trapped." Chi-Chi knew she was indeed his prisoner. She cried so hard, begging Mr. Bello, "Please sir, leave me alone, please uncle, please, please." She cried, all to no avail. Her pleadings fell on deaf ears as he lust got over him. After he was done, sleeping with Chi-Chi, a 16-year-old, he left the dark room, leaving Chi-Chi alone, who was crying profusely. Due to the pains, this act continued for months. Chi-Chi lived in fear. Chi-Chi told Mama Charity what had been happening, but she did not believe. Instead she shouted at Chi-Chi, saying, "You are a liar, Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi, why are you lying? You homebreaker. She slapped Chi-Chi on the face and started crying. She tried to get in touch with her parents, but to no avail. She felt helpless and very lonely, without friends and money. So one day she discovered she was pregnant for Mr. Bello. When she told Mama Charity and Mr. Bello, they asked her to get rid of the pregnancy. Her whole world crumbled. She had nobody to talk to. She was confused. She had no choice but to do as she was told. Chi-Chi was broken. Despite all that she passed through, Mr. Bello did not stop. He threatened her if she goes to report him again. She was afraid. Mr. Bello forced her on several occasions. Mama Charity, who knew all that was going on, yet did not confront her husband, only pretended as if nothing was happening. Chi-Chi was helpless. She missed her family and wanted to go back to the village. But Mama Charity refused, saying that she bought her from her parents. Therefore she was her property and must do only what she was asked to do without complaining. On hearing what Mama Charity said, she had to accept her reality and live without hope. The pain around her was too much to bear. Chi-Chi cried unto God again for help. She said, "Father God, please, please help me," she cried to sleep. The next day the city streets were chaos. The sun blazed down as Chi-Chi wove through the traffic. Her tray of oranges balanced on her head. The horns of impatient drivers and the shouts of hawkers filled the air. But Chi-Chi heard nothing. Her mind was consumed by despair. That day, a man grabbed her arm, dragging her toward a dark alley. Chi-Chi fought with every ounce of strength, her screams piercing the air. She managed to break free and ran, her legs shaking beneath her. Collapsing by the roadside, she wept. Her tears mingled with the dust, her cries drowned by the city's indifference. "God, please help me," she whispered. The next morning, Chi-Chi left Mama Charity's house with her tray of goods. But this time, she walked past her usual spot. Her heart raced as she moved further away, her eyes scanning for a way out. Hours later, she stumbled upon a church. The wooden doors were wide open, and the sound of hymns flowed like a river of peace. She stepped inside hesitantly, the cool air a balm to her burning skin. The light streaming through the stained glass windows painted colorful patterns on the floor. Reverend James approached her, his face kind and gentle. "Come, child," he said, offering her water. "You look like you've been through a storm." Chi-Chi broke down, her sobs shaking her small frame. Through her tears, she poured out her story, and Reverend James listened, his eyes filled with compassion. "You're safe now," he said, his voice steady. "We will help you." From that day she decided not to go back to Mama Charity's house. Through the church, Chi-Chi was introduced to Mama G, a vibrant woman who owned a bustling restaurant. Mama G's laughter echoed through the small eatery, her presence a beacon of warmth. "You will stay here," Mama G said, leading Chi-Chi to a small but cozy room at the back of the restaurant. "You're safe now, my child." Chi-Chi threw herself into work, finding solace in the kitchen's rhythm. The clatter of pots and pans, the sizzle of frying oil, and the laughter of customers became her new symphony. Slowly, her heart began to heal. One afternoon, a woman entered the restaurant. Dressed in fine clothes, smiling, she called the waitress and ordered her food. Everyone seemed to know her around because as she entered, everyone greeted her cheerfully. Mama G came out to greet her too. She was known as Madam Linda. I was introduced to her as the new waitress. She looked at me and smiled. I was taken aback at her beautiful set of teeth. Some days later, Madam Linda entered the restaurant. Dressed in fine clothes and exuding an air of sophistication, she conversed with Chi-Chi. "You are wasting your time here," Madam Linda said, her smile warm but her eyes cold. "Come with me, and I'll help you earn more money." Madam Linda promised to give her a job as a manager in her big restaurant in another city. Since she now has experience, she was to have a free accommodation and other free packages. Chi-Chi was so excited, being so naive. She believed Madam Linda, so she informed Mama G that she had found another job in the next city. Mama G was very sad because she was fond of Chi-Chi, a very cheerful hardwork. Mama G said, "Chi, I will miss you. Don't forget to visit me whenever you come to town, my child. Thank you for everything. May God direct you to only good people to help you." Chi-Chi, crying, replied saying, "Mama G, thank you for taking me in and for helping me. Don't worry, I will come and visit you, Ma." She hugged Mama G and left with the taxi that was waiting to take her to her destination. Desperate to improve her life, Chi-Chi agreed. But Madam Linda's promises were lies. Chi-Chi found herself trapped once again. She was deceived, her freedom stripped away. She became a victim once again. When she arrived at her destination, the taxi stopped her in front of a beautiful house. The gateman opened the gate. As she stood there, Madam Linda's maid opened the door and helped her inside the beautiful sitting room and ushered her to feel at home. She told her Madam Linda would be out soon. The maid offered her some water and some snacks while she waited for Madam Linda. After some minutes, Madam Linda came downstairs smiling and hugged Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi was happy to see her. It was quite late, so she asked the maid to take her to her room after dinner so she can rest. Chi-Chi had never slept on such a very comfortable bed before, so she slept like a baby until noon the following day. Madam Linda allowed her to sleep. She later went downstairs, was welcomed by two ladies smiling. They all introduced themselves, ate together and chilled. 3 days later, Madam Linda sat with Chi-Chi and said, "Chi-Chi, you are welcome to my house once again. These few days I decided to allow you to have some rest, but it's time to start work." Hearing the work, Chi-Chi was excited to start immediately because she needed to save up to search for her parents and brother, since Madam Linda promised she would make more money working in her restaurant as a manager. Madam Linda continued, "Listen, Chi-Chi, I would like to explain how things are done here. You need to prepare it. I want to be honest with you. I will give you free accommodation and food. You will share an apartment with the two ladies you met a few days ago again. They will come and take you there after our discussion. It's a 3-bedroom apartment, so you will have your own room and comfort. I want you to be as comfortable as possible. I hope it's okay," she asked. Chi-Chi, although a bit confused, replied yes. Madam Linda continued, "Listen, Chi-Chi, since I'm going to get you this well-paying job that will change your life, and will make you have enough to go search for your family in the village and to change the lives of your family, you need to sign a contract to pay back cash as you work. This agreement is done by all the ladies you saw. More to see under my watch. It is called maintenance fee." Madam Linda told her all she needed to know, and how she was going to pay back a certain amount of money to an account every month. She told her one of the ladies, called Joy, would tell her the other things concerning her job placement and duties. Chi-Chi was more confused, could not understand it all. Madam Linda saw the confused face and smiled. "Chi-Chi, do not worry, you will be fine in no time," she said. "Chi-Chi, you will start work this evening with Joy. I have told her what to do with you. Just obey instructions and you will be fine." Joy passed by later to pick up Chi-Chi, who was still confused. Joy noticed she was very quiet and confused and said, "Hello, Chi-Chi, I understand how you feel. You will be fine. Just obey instructions. You are good to go." When they got to Joy's apartment, the other ladies in the house welcomed her. They were friendly, made her comfortable. They explained to her the basic rules in the house. Cooking, cleaning. They showed her a well-furnished room. which put a smile on her confused face. Later that evening, at about 8 p.m. after dinner, Joy went to her room holding a bag and sat on a chair close to the bed where Chi-Chi was lying down on. Joy asked, smiling, "Chi, are you ready for your new job?" Chi-Chi, very excited, yes. But asked, "When are we leaving? Are we not late? Usually customers are served between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. for dinner. We are already late, Joy, don't you think so?" Joy replied, "No, Chi-Chi, we are not late, but we need to get prepared, so get up from the bed. Now, since the job is a special job, you need to prepare before. Now listen, Chi. Madam Linda said for this job, you will need to dress up with these new clothes." Joy gave her the bag with clothes. Chi-Chi was surprised. Chi-Chi replied, "All these are mine." Joy replied, "Yes. You can bring out and choose the color you preferred." Chi-Chi, look at me. As you can see, I am dressed up, ready to go out. Chi-Chi with trembling hands opened the gift bags. She saw so many lingerie. She asked, "Must I wear these?" "For what?" Finally she dressed up properly and left the house with Joy. On getting to the place, she saw other ladies all dressed up scarcely, and asked Joy what was happening if they were not going to the restaurant to work. Joy then explained there was no restaurant job. Actually, Madam Linda is in charge of almost all the ladies there in this house. They practically work this way to get money for themselves and to pay Madam Linda for their liberty. So practically she was bought from Mama G by Madam Linda, who happens to be Mama G's business partner. Like every girl she saw, her freedom has a price tag. The reality flashed her eyes. She was trapped again. Chi-Chi cried uncontrollable and said she was not obeying to instructions. Unfortunately, it was too late to go back. Madam Linda was informed about what happened, so sent for Chi-Chi and told her about the transaction with Mama G, an agreement. Chi-Chi was disappointed and very sad. She was being deceived. Madam Linda insisted and warned her. She said, "Look, Chi-Chi, no turning back. The earlier you start, the better for you." Chi-Chi was forced to do as she was asked to. Chi-Chi cried and prayed to God to help her. It was during one of her darkest days that she met Dr. Obi, who became her customer. The kind-hearted man saw her distress and intervened, negotiating with Madam Linda and paying off her debts, and she was freed. "You don't deserve this life," he told her, his voice firm yet gentle. "Come with me. I'll help you heal." For the first time, Chi-Chi felt hope. Dr. Obi's home was a haven of peace, filled with books and soft light. Over time, their bond grew, and Chi-Chi found herself smiling again. Dr. Obi fell in love with her. Chi-Chi, due to her experiences, refused to trust anyone. Still, gradually seeing all the sincere efforts being made by Dr. Obi, she decided to trust him gradually. Over time, she became fond of him and eventually loved him secretly. A lot happened. Meanwhile, they were looking for her parents and brother. He sent her to school and polished her to his taste. Chi-Chi was determined to improve and contribute to the community. With time, she became more confident. Both got married. The doctor was a very supportive husband, and they were happy together. With Dr. Obi's encouragement, Chi-Chi reached out to her family. With the help of private investigation, the reunion in Umuaama village with her parents and brother was a flood of emotions. Her mother's embrace was warm and tearful. Her father's voice thick with gratitude. "You're home now," her mother whispered. "We've prayed for this day." Chi-Chi told her parents all that happened to her, and how Dr. Obi saved her life. Chi-Chi took her parents to her house in the city where they also met Dr. Obi. Her parents thanked Dr. Obi. It was a joyful reunion. Chi-Chi, together with her husband, created an association to help young girls and boys who are victims to this circumstance of life. This association helps them to understand their self-worth and to become more responsible, to enlighten the public generally, families, the police. Chi-Chi used her pain to inspire others. She stood before young girls in villages, communities, towns, her voice strong and steady, and also advised all parents to be very careful and watchful. "You are worth more than what the world tells you," she said. "Never stop fighting for your freedom." The following applause was a testament to her courage. Her journey a beacon of hope for many. Chi-Chi's life, once filled with darkness, is now shown with a light of faith, hope, love, and resilience. She was ever grateful for her husband, above all God Almighty, who finally heard all her prayers, Chi-Chi, from a trapped situation to be free. Parents should think properly before sending their children out as house help.